Boss has gone underground. Lars Klingbeil cancels appointments with Lance. And the Chancellor criticizes Lars Klingbeil for now trying to do his own thing. This government has a really extremely serious problem, which it keeps stirring up more and more. You really have to put it that way. Lars Klingbeil is currently not willing to give press statements or anything like that. He says he has now summoned his henchmen bypassing the Chancellor to maybe somehow turn things around for the 8% party, the party that everyone wants to get rid of. That's what this video this morning is about. And I would say listen to what Welt alone has to say about it.
They can't agree on relief measures in the fuel price crisis. Vice Chancellor Klingbeil, meanwhile, is doing his own thing and is inviting people to an energy summit.
If you want to support this channel, I would really appreciate a like and a subscription so that we can show these videos to even more people. Let's continue with the content. Lars Klingbeil was supposed to on the 8th. On April 8th, he was actually supposed to be on Lance and answer questions, including how we are dealing with the current situation and how we will relieve these citizens. Lars Klingbeil did not want to face these questions, and there wasn't even an official statement as to why he didn't show up on Lance. In the end, the whole show was only about Hormuz and how urgently these peace treaties are needed, or rather that they are now on the verge of collapsing. But there will be a bit more about that in the video this afternoon. Lars Klingbeil has now let it be known through a press office that there will be a windfall tax on energy companies, a mobility subsidy for citizens, as well as a flexible fuel price cap. How he wants to implement all of this, however, is not clear. Maybe he'll manage it with, oh no, not that either. So even the left and the Greens together don't help the SPD anymore either. But after the shocking numbers were released yesterday, I just don't want to keep them from you.
The Union and SPD are also losing among the reliable voters. The SPD is now only in the single digits with 8%.
In the election polls, they keep dropping further and further, and the reliable voters are just leaving them in droves. I mean, when we're talking again about how they've just lost 2% and then simply disappeared without a trace. So the INSA poll came out, Lars Klingbeil cancelled on Markus Lanz and is now starting to completely lose it and do his own thing in the Chancellery. Friedrich Merz, we heard from him yesterday. Yeah, you shouldn't necessarily pressure Lars Klingbeil right now with the stuff he's been pushing. By the way, in the politician ranking, just take a quick look at who's currently at the bottom in Germany. Merz is soon at the bottom, Baas is losing massively, Klingbeil is losing massively, and even Boris Pistorius at the top has. And I've already made several videos about this for you, and he's also been losing more and more approval. And the biggest problem is that these departments, the ones that are there right now, the SPD is busy discussing whether people with the wrong mindset should soon no longer be allowed to buy real estate. Berberin Babelbas is simply no longer there. She apparently doesn't even exist anymore. Lars Klingbeil is currently sitting in the car on his way to the Bundestag, working around this chancellor. Let me ask you directly, what do you guys actually think? How much longer can they even keep up this game out there? Yesterday, there was another bombshell that I absolutely don't want to keep from you.
That means for now, Merz is pulling the plug on the proposals from Vice Chancellor Klingbeil's SPD, but he himself isn't offering any quick solutions either.
And you really have to take this in now. Whether he's actually sitting in the car right now, I don't know. That will probably be later. Maybe I exaggerated a bit about the whole thing, but the Chancellor pulled the plug on all the consultations that were supposed to take place this afternoon. That means anyone who goes to the Chancellery this morning or this afternoon already knows one thing in advance. The Chancellor basically put his foot down yesterday. There will be no relief measures. And you're struggling with 8% of the votes because people would rather see you anywhere else than in the government, to put it a bit nicely and politely. And then this happens on top of it.
That was actually supposed to stop today. Instead, the Chancellor said interventions in the market, fuel price cap, probably not. That's exactly what the SPD wants. That means the seed for further conflict has been sown.
Yes, so escalation in this government is already looming again. I think this weekend we'll see some measures that are either completely over the top. For example, if you have the wrong political views in Germany, you won't be allowed to buy property in the future. That's now coming from the SPD or from the SPD-led ministry. However, and I have to say this as well, yes, they don't specify what the wrong attitude actually is. Maybe if you simply don't vote for the SPD, Greens, or Left in the future, you won't be allowed to buy a house here or a company or something like that. At the same time, now there's also a bit coming out of the Social Security funds again. News made an inquiry, and from this inquiry, it turns out that now over 50% of all welfare benefits go to migrants who either don't have or still have other passports. And to top it all off, now hold on tight, don't keel over. Social benefits have increased by 50 billion euros compared to the previous year, while the budget gap has now grown to 151 billion euros and the national debt has simply expanded to 6.4%. I wouldn't want to trade places with those people up there right now. I know they get a lot of money. But the question is, if this thing blows up someday and we don't have any money left to pay the police, who will protect these people then? Or will they run off abroad and then it's probably good if no one ever finds them again? If the system of the FRG collapses, then I know one thing, there will be unrest here, and I'm really just wondering when it's all going to happen. And speaking of unrest, I found something, you guys mentioned it to me several times in the comments. There's a demonstration that stretches from Emden, basically almost from here all the way to Berlin, and I'd like to show you a short clip about it.
Friends, now the time has come. On April 17th, you can all join me and take to the streets to go to the Bundestag in Berlin and have Friedrich Merz removed from his office, which he does not deserve.
And yet another new video from these two on YouTube. There was some guy on X talking nonsense, saying I was some kind of representative of this policy, and now all the media are trying to make me look bad.
So why didn't I do any advertising for it? Why didn't I include it? And why am I leaving the whole thing out as well? This gentleman has appeared several times on public broadcasting, but I already knew that after I ran his face through the first AI tool I found, and the whole thing seemed a bit too suspicious to me. Is he right in what he's doing? Yes. Does he appeal to a different audience? Probably not. Is what he's doing good? Yes. However, I can't rule it out. In my opinion, something about the whole story doesn't seem quite right. If you want to go there, please do so. I just have a really bad gut feeling about the whole thing. And I really have to say I'm distancing myself very carefully, politely. You know, whenever there's a demonstration somewhere, like now in Baden-Württemberg, just before the election against the Greens, I'm always there, and I also show that in my videos. In this case, I really say if you want to go there, do it. It comes from the middle class. I won't be doing that. However, I will take a look at the whole thing, so I will go there. However, you know how it is, I will, and a lot of people always criticize me for this. Yeah, I won't film at demonstrations anymore. By the way, there's a reason for that, and I want to briefly mention it again because a lot of people keep telling me, yeah, just go out on the street. You know, there's still a protest video of mine online, and you should never talk about ongoing court cases. That's what my lawyer told me, and that's what other people have told me. I can only show you one thing. I really don't need any more drama or stress right now. That's why I don't film at public demonstrations. I make my videos here, but I still show my colors. And yes, every now and then someone likes to come up to me and we have a chat.